Young and Restless 2-week spoilers September 1st to 12th. Kyle faces heartbreaking rejection as Kane's anger erupts. On Monday, September 1st, it is Labor Day, but we should be getting a brand new episode. Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, shows up to dinner at the Abbott mansion, and Kyle is flattering Claire, telling her how much he loves her, how great she is. Kyle admits he was stupid to push to expose Audra Charles's, Zuleika Silver, scheme and assures Claire he was really going to tell the truth, just not while she was grieving her dad's death. Kyle really wants her trust back, but Claire says it's going to take some time. Kyle's not giving her any time at all, asking Claire if she still wants to move in together because Adam Newman's Mark Grossman, ready to sell his apartment to them. Kyle talks about how great Claire is with Harrison Locke, Redding Munsell, and then Kyle proposes. Claire's jaw drops, and not in good way. Audra Charles's confession and Nate Hastings' rejection, a shocking betrayal. Audra tries to get close to Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, again. But he reminds Audra she walked away from him. Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, tells him she wants to work things out, talking to Nate about making a commitment to him and how she's changed. He just wants to hear the truth. Audra finally admits she did make a dirty deal with Victor Newman, Eric Braden, but insists she would never have slept with Kyle. Nate is completely appalled that she would break Claire's heart this way. Audra tries to justify it and asks Nate for another chance, but he says Audra chose business over him. Nate cannot live with her betrayal, so they are done. Amanda Sinclair, Miss Hale Morgan, sees Audra and Nate spat, and tells Audra she saw her and Kyle looking cozy in France, but Audra insists that was strictly business. Later, Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, consoles Nate about splitting from Audra. They talk about losing Damian Kane, Jermaine Rivers, and Cole Howard J. Eddie Peck. Nate says what Victor and Audra were doing to Kyle and Claire was awful. Victoria agrees but says Victor backed down, though she's skeptical that's true. Nate says he is done with Audra forever. Young and the Restless. Kyle's hasty proposal and Jack Abbott's vengeance. Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, and Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, worry about Kyle's hasty proposal to Claire. They blame Victor for the issues the kids are having, and Jack wants to take Victor down for good. Jack tells Diane that Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, has a plan to get Chancellor, but they worry about Billy L. being unreliable. Still, Jack and Diane agree that taking down Victor is worth it. Diane tells Jack if they do this, he cannot worry about Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, getting hurt in the process. Diane says they have to put Kyle first. Jack finally agrees after Diane reminds him that Nikki, Melody Thomas Scott, always makes excuses and enables Victor's bad deeds. September 2nd. Claire's decision, Amanda's risk, and Victor's pressure. On Tuesday, September 2nd, Kyle is surprised by Claire. I believe this is her giving her answer to Kyle's proposal. I don't think it's going to be a diamond yes. May it's going to be more of Claire being upset that Kyle just didn't hear her about needing some time. He did this bad thing, then he lied, and then she feels like he only told the truth because he was cornered. She just wanted a minute to breathe and process and think it through, and he didn't listen to Claire, so he is still making these mistakes. Amanda does something risky for Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, on Tuesday. I wonder if she's going to advocate to Kane to keep Phyllis on board. Amanda may even tell Phyllis about Kane's winter's plan without his permission. Whatever it is, Amanda is sticking her neck out, and that's never a good idea where Phyllis is concerned. Plus, Victor will not budge with Kane. Victor is pushing Kane to show up and help them destroy the Abbott family. Either that, or he's going to release that info on Colin Atkinson, Tristan Rogers, that he thinks is going to tarnish Kane's brand. Young and the Restless spoilers. Revenge plots, relationship advice, and unexpected commitments. On Wednesday, September 3rd, we've got Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, teaming up with Claire for payback on Audra. Obviously, that's for plotting against her and Kyle, Michael Mealer, and making that dirty deal with Victor. If you remember, Holden was all about Audra, but now he's all about Claire. I think Holden is going to be on board to help whatever Claire wants to do to Audra. He's the perfect co-conspirator. Diane and Jack have some advice and comfort for Kyle. I'm guessing he's going to come to Jack and Diane upset that Claire shut down his proposal, which of course Diane and Jack expected would happen. I'm guessing Jack and Diane say, do what she asks. Give Claire the time. But Kyle probably won't listen again. Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, gets this surprise on Wednesday when Billy makes a commitment to her. I don't think he's dropping to one knee to propose. I would be stunned if he did. Maybe he's going to ask Sally to move in. September 4th. new opportunities, escalating conflicts, and romantic gestures. Thursday, September 4th, Michael Baldwin, Christian LeBlanc, gets a new opportunity. I wonder if the Winters family needs a new lawyer. There are a lot of businesses in Genoa City, but most of them Victor would be outraged if he went to work for. And that's always going to be a factor in Michael's decision-making, even if it shouldn't be. Claire absolutely loses it on Audra. Obviously, that's for trying to break Claire and Kyle up and putting Claire in this terrible situation she's in now. I think Audra's attitude is going to be that she's paid enough because she lost Victor's money and she's lost Nate. But I don't think Claire's going to stop. Audra poked somebody who was raised to get revenge on Young and the Restless. She messed with the wrong girl. Nikki prepares a romantic night for Victor because he's always romancing and spoiling her. September 5th, Phyllis missteps, Kane's deception, and Victor's war council. On Friday, September 5th, Phyllis oversteps and may ruin things for herself yet again. I'm very worried that Phyllis is going to betray Amanda's confidence and get them both in trouble. Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, presses Kane to be honest. If Lily's coming back around asking him about his real plan, no way Kane is going to tell the truth because he's coming for Lily Winters' company. Now, I don't know why he thinks that's a good idea since he wants to get back with her, but that's his plan. Victor gets his family ready for battle, but I wonder if Adam and Nikki will really help Victor target Jack and Jabot. Going after Kane, going after Billy, that's fine. But Claire and Nikki will be upset. Maybe Adam too. But Nikki always lets Victor get away with everything on Young and the Restless. I don't think Claire will, though. The week of September 8th to 12th. High-stakes decisions and escalating feuds. The week of September 8th through the 12th, Kane makes a decision. When Victor's driving this hard bargain with him, Kane's going to have to decide how far he's going to let Victor push him. The problem with a blackmailer is if you give in once, they will never go away, and the Young and the Restless are in for an emotional roller coaster over the next 2 weeks, from September 1st to September 12th, as Genoa City becomes a battleground of heartbreak, family tension, and shocking confrontations. At the center of the storm is Kyle Abbott, whose quest for love and acceptance hits a devastating wall, while Kane Ashby's simmering anger threatens to ignite a series of explosive confrontations that could leave lasting scars for everyone involved. Here's an early look at the drama that will grip viewers in the coming episodes. Kyle's heartbreaking rejection. The week kicks off with Kyle Abbott in a vulnerable place emotionally. After months of navigating a complicated love triangle, Kyle finally musters the courage to lay his feelings bare to someone he has longed to be with. However, fans should brace themselves because his honesty is met with unexpected rejection. This heart-wrenching moment is amplified by the public nature of the confrontation, leaving Kyle humiliated and questioning whether he will ever find a love that matches his depth of emotion. Sources suggest that the person delivering the rejection has been struggling with their own past choices, making the denial not only painful but layered with guilt and unresolved feelings. Kyle's emotional response ranges from quiet devastation to flashes of anger, highlighting the vulnerability and humanity that have endeared him to viewers over the years. Social media is already buzzing with speculation, as fans debate whether this rejection will mark a turning point for Kyle, pushing him toward personal growth or a darker path fueled by heartbreak. Kane's boiling anger. Meanwhile, Kane Ashby's storyline reaches a fever pitch. Longtime viewers know Kane as a man who strives to keep peace within his family, but recent events have pushed him to the brink. Kane's anger is not without reason. Perceived betrayals, secrets revealed, and family loyalties tested have compounded, and the upcoming episodes promise to explore the full scope of his frustration. A key scene reportedly shows Kane confronting a close friend in a tense exchange, where years of pent-up resentment and disappointment explode. His words are sharp, his tone icy, and the tension is so thick viewers might find themselves holding their breath. This outburst doesn't just affect Kane. It sends shockwaves through the Ashby-Abbott clan, forcing everyone to reckon with the undercurrents of distrust that have been quietly brewing for months. Kane's fury also intertwines with Kyle's heartbreak. The two storylines are set to intersect in a high-stakes moment where Kyle's emotional vulnerability collides with Kane's anger, creating an explosive cocktail that could redefine alliances and test relationships across Genoa City. Fans are already speculating. Will Kane's wrath inadvertently push Kyle toward a new path, or will it deepen the rift between family and friends? Unexpected twists and shocking revelations. Adding to the drama, Genoa City will witness shocking revelations that are sure to send shockwaves through both families. Secrets long buried are poised to surface, including past mistakes that resurface at the worst possible moment. One spoiler teases a confrontation where Kane discovers a betrayal that cuts to the core of his trust, leaving him reevaluating not only his relationships but his role as a protector and mediator. For Kyle, this period of rejection coincides with an unexpected ally entering the picture. While the rejection initially leaves him reeling, a mysterious figure with an unknown agenda offers support, blurring the lines between friend and foe. Will this ally help Kyle heal, or will they manipulate his vulnerability for their own gain? The coming weeks suggest the answer is anything but straightforward. Family tensions and ripple effects. Family dynamics are central to the unfolding drama. Kane's anger is not just personal. It has ripple effects that threaten to disrupt the fragile balance within the Abbott-Ashby household. Arguments escalate, loyalties are questioned, and alliances are tested. It seems no one is safe from the fallout, as even minor misunderstandings could trigger larger conflicts. Victoria Newman and Phyllis Summers are reportedly drawn into the chaos, each grappling with their own moral dilemmas and roles in the escalating drama. Their interactions with Kyle and Kane are poised to add depth and complexity as old wounds and rivalries resurface, creating tense and emotionally charged scenes. For viewers, this promises a multi-layered story where every conversation could carry hidden stakes. Romantic turmoil and personal growth. Amid the heartbreak and rage, there's a strong undercurrent of personal growth for key characters. Kyle, despite facing rejection, is expected to find moments of introspection that could shape his future decisions. His heartbreak may push him toward self-discovery, revealing resilience and a capacity for forgiveness that will resonate deeply with viewers. Kane's storyline also hints at a turning point. While his anger may initially dominate, insiders suggest that he will face opportunities to channel his frustration into constructive action. Whether this leads to reconciliation or further conflict is unclear, but Kane's journey is likely to challenge his long-held beliefs about family loyalty, trust, and forgiveness. Fan reactions and speculation. Already, fan forums are buzzing with theories. Some speculate that Kyle's rejection is the beginning of a larger arc that may lead him into unexpected romantic territory. Others suggest that Kane's fury may serve as a catalyst for a dramatic showdown, potentially involving confrontations with characters viewers least expect. The combination of heartbreak, anger, and shocking revelations promises to keep social media alight with speculation and discussion. Previewing key episodes. September 1st to 3rd. Kyle bravely expresses his feelings only to face a crushing rejection. Kane begins noticing inconsistencies in those around him, fueling his simmering anger. September 4th to 6th. The ripple effects of Kane's frustration become evident. Tensions escalate during family gatherings, and Kyle starts questioning his own decisions in the wake of heartbreak. September 7th to 9th. Secrets come to light, shocking both the Abbott and Ashby families. Kyle finds a surprising ally, while Kane confronts someone he trusted deeply. September 10th to 12th. Emotional confrontations reach their peak. Kyle's heartbreak and Kane's fury intersect, resulting in a dramatic, multi-layered clash that leaves Genoa City's residents and viewers alike on edge. Final thoughts. As the first 2 weeks of September unfold on The Young and the Restless, viewers can expect an emotionally charged roller coaster. Kyle's heartbreaking rejection and Kane's explosive anger promise to deliver unforgettable drama, highlighting the intricate web of love, betrayal, and family loyalty that has kept fans hooked for decades. These episodes are more than just plot points. They are transformative moments for the characters. Kyle's emotional journey may redefine his role in Genoa City, while Kane's fiery confrontations could reshape his family's dynamics forever. With secrets, betrayals, and unexpected alliances, fans are in for a gripping 2 weeks that will leave them eagerly awaiting what happens next. If you thought Genoa City had seen its fair share of drama, the September 1st, 12 episodes prove that the Abbott and Ashby families still have plenty of shocking twists and heart-wrenching moments. Chancellor Industries seemed unusually cold on this Tuesday afternoon, as if the building itself could sense the storm brewing inside. Audra Charles, the ever-dedicated assistant with a heart full of secrets, sat at her desk, twisting her fingers nervously. The truth had been festering inside her for weeks, gnawing at her conscience until it could no longer be contained. And now she knew the moment of reckoning had arrived. Nate Hastings strode into the office, his usual calm demeanor replaced by a quiet intensity. He had noticed Audra's odd behavior over the past few days. her distracted glances, her sudden withdrawals, and the way she avoided meeting his eyes. Nate, though generally trusting, could sense when something was amiss, and today he intended to get answers. "Audra," Nate said softly, closing the door behind him. "We need to talk." Audra's breath hitched. She had imagined this moment countless times, rehearsing every word, every nuance, every possible reaction Nate might have. And yet, as she looked into his steady, questioning eyes, all her rehearsals crumbled. "Nate, I have to tell you something," Audra stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. "Something I should have said a long time ago." Nate leaned against his desk, folding his arms. "You know you can tell me anything, Audra. I mean that." Her hands shook as she reached for a folder on her desk. It contained documents she had obtained weeks ago. Documents that could potentially shake the Hastings family to its core. Audra swallowed hard and met Nate's gaze. I found something about your family. About your father, about the Hastings legacy," she began, her voice trembling. "I didn't mean to keep it from you, but I thought I could protect you from it. I thought it was safer if I dealt with it quietly. But now, it's out of control, and you deserve to know the truth." Nate's expression darkened slightly, a flicker of fear crossing his eyes. "Audra, what exactly are you talking about?" Audra exhaled, feeling the weight of her confession pressing down on her chest. "There are irregularities in the Hastings Trust. Money that shouldn't have been moved. Decisions that were made without transparency. And I may have inadvertently been part of it. I tried to cover for someone. I didn't know the full extent of what I was protecting, Nate, but I realize now that I was wrong." The words landed like a sledgehammer. Nate's jaw tightened, and he took a step back. You knew? And you didn't tell me?" "Audra, this isn't just about mistakes. This is about trust. You were supposed to have my back. How could you?" Tears welled in Audra's eyes. "I know, Nate. I know I betrayed you. I didn't mean to hurt you. I just wanted to protect you from the fallout. I thought I was helping, but I see now that I made everything worse." For a moment, silence filled the room. The hum of the office seemed deafening, magnifying the tension between them. Nate ran a hand over his face, his mind racing. The woman he had considered a friend, someone he trusted implicitly, had kept a secret that now threatened to unravel everything he held dear. "You don't get it, Audra. This isn't just about protecting me," Nate said finally, his voice cold and firm. "This is about respect, about honesty. And you broke that. You lied to me. And for what? To play the hero? To shield me from something you couldn't handle yourself." Audra shook her head, desperation creeping into her voice. "Nate, please. I never wanted to hurt you. I thought I was making the right choice. I still do. I only wanted to help." But Nate's expression hardened. "Helping isn't keeping secrets from me. Helping isn't lying by omission. This is betrayal, Audra. And I can't just brush it off." Audra's shoulders slumped, the fight leaving her. She had known this was coming, had feared it with every fiber of her being. "So, what does this mean?" she asked quietly, her voice breaking. Nate looked at her for what felt like an eternity, the weight of disappointment etched on his face. "It means, I can't trust you anymore. Not now. Not with anything. I need time. I need space. Maybe one day we can repair this, but right now, I can't. You've made that impossible." Audra's heart shattered. She had anticipated anger, frustration, maybe even sadness, but this cold, definitive rejection felt like a physical blow. She had imagined apologizing, explaining, maybe even being forgiven. But Nate's words left no room for compromise, no hope for reconciliation. I understand," she whispered, though every fiber of her being screamed otherwise. I really am sorry, Nate." Nate nodded, barely acknowledging her apology. "I hope you mean that, Audra. Because right now your actions have consequences. I need to think, and I need to figure out who I can actually trust. Starting with me." Without another word, he turned and walked out of the office, leaving Audra staring at the closed door, the sound of her own heartbeat deafening in the sudden emptiness. She had lost more than just a friend today. She had lost the trust of someone she deeply cared about, and with it, a part of herself. The fallout, she knew, wouldn't stop at their personal relationship. In the corridors of Chancellor Industries and beyond, whispers would spread. Colleagues would question her integrity. Allies might turn against her. And Nate's rejection would sting long after the shock of her confession faded. As Audra sat alone, she reflected on the cruel irony of her situation. She had acted out of loyalty, out of a desire to protect, and yet that very action had led to her isolation. She had learned, in the harshest way possible, that intentions, no matter how pure, could not erase the impact of betrayal. But in the depths of her despair, a flicker of resolve sparked. Audra knew she had to face the consequences of her choices. She had to make amends, prove that she could be trusted again, even if it meant enduring Nate's cold dismissal and the judgment of everyone around her. The door to her office remained closed, a symbol of the barrier now between her and Nate. But Audra understood one thing with crystal clarity. Redemption would be a long, painful journey, and it would require more than words. It would require actions, sacrifices, and the courage to face a truth far more daunting than any secret she had ever kept. And somewhere deep down, despite the sting of rejection, Audra vowed she would do whatever it took to earn back what she had lost, one painstaking step at a time. For now, though, the office was silent, and the betrayal hung heavy in the air, a reminder that even the closest bonds could be shattered in an instant, and that sometimes the hardest person to forgive is the one who was alive with tension, a storm brewing behind the glittering chandeliers and polished floors. Kyle Abbott had never been more nervous and yet more determined as he clutched a small velvet box in his hand. It wasn't just any box, it was the culmination of a whirlwind of emotions, mistakes, and impulsive decisions. And tonight, Kyle planned to make a move that would shock Genoa City to its core. Across town, Jack Abbott sat in his study, a glass of scotch trembling slightly in his hand. He had sensed the change in his son weeks ago, the furtive glances, the secretive phone calls, and the growing intensity in Kyle's life. And now Jack knew. Kyle was on the verge of proposing, probably to someone he barely had time to think through, in a reckless bid to prove his independence. Jack's gut twisted with both concern and fury. This wasn't just about a hasty engagement, it was about power, pride, and the illusion of control that ran through the Abbott family like electricity. Kyle arrived at the apartment he shared with his girlfriend, heart pounding like a war drum. The night air felt charged, each breath heavy with anticipation. He had rehearsed his words 100 times, each attempt failing to capture the raw urgency he felt. He didn't have time for rehearsals tonight. Life was moving too fast, and he was convinced that if he didn't act now, he'd lose the chance forever. Inside, his girlfriend was oblivious to the drama unfolding outside. She laughed at a text message, a sparkle in her eye, a reminder to Kyle of why he had fallen for her in the first place. That very sparkle ignited the impulsive fire in his chest. He dropped to one knee, the velvet box opening to reveal a glinting ring that caught the lamplight. "I know this is sudden," Kyle said, voice cracking with emotion, "but I can't wait another day. Will you marry me?" Her laughter froze mid-sentence. The room went silent, the kind of silence that stretches thin, taut, and dangerous. Her eyes widened in shock. "Kyle, wait," she whispered, the hesitation in her voice like ice against his fevered heart. This is a lot. Are you sure?" Kyle's hands shook, not from fear, but from the desperation of a man who believed he was making the right choice. "I'm sure," he insisted. "I love you and I don't want to waste another second. Say yes. Please." The answer, however, was not what Kyle had hoped for. She shook her head slowly, her eyes brimming with empathy, yet firm with resolve. "Kyle, I can't. Not like this. Not so fast. I need time." The word hit Kyle like a physical blow. The velvet box felt heavier than lead, his dreams crumbling in real time. But before he could respond, before his world tilted completely off its axis, a shadow fell over him. "Didn't I warn you?" Jack Abbott's voice was sharp, laced with the controlled fury of a man who had watched the foundations of his family tremble one too many times. Kyle looked up to see his father standing at the doorway, eyes like storm clouds, scotch forgotten on the side table. "Kyle, impulsive moves have consequences. And you're about to find out just how serious those consequences can be." Kyle's jaw tightened, a mixture of shame and defiance rising inside him. "Dad, I know what I'm doing. I love her, and I need to act now before." "Before what?" Jack interrupted, stepping closer, the air around him charged with his usual intensity. "Before you ruin your life? Before you give away your heart to someone who isn't ready, or worse, someone who could use you to get to the Abbott fortune." The words struck Kyle with the precision of a scalpel. His father had always been protective, sometimes to a fault, but this was different. Jack's tone carried a weight that only years of power, betrayal, and survival could forge. And buried beneath that protective fury was something darker. Vengeance. Jack had been wronged countless times, his empire threatened, his family tested. And tonight, he saw another potential disaster on the horizon. "You don't get it, Dad," Kyle said, his voice rising, breaking. I'm not thinking about money. I'm not thinking about Newman Enterprises or any of that. I'm thinking about us. About now. Jack's eyes narrowed. Kyle, love doesn't always follow your timing. But consequences do. And sometimes, the people who teach you the hardest lessons are the ones who love you most. Or maybe, the ones who want you to feel their wrath. That last part hung in the air, ominous and deliberate. Kyle swallowed hard. He had known his father's temper, his drive for control, but he hadn't anticipated this calculated, almost vengeful edge. Jack wasn't just warning him. He was setting the stage for a lesson Kyle wouldn't forget. Meanwhile, across Genoa City, the ripple effects of Kyle's hasty proposal were already beginning. Friends and family whispered in the hallways of Newman Enterprises and Jabot, predicting disaster and heartbreak. Some wondered if this was yet another Abbott misstep, a child acting before thinking, or if it was something more, an emotional explosion that would redefine alliances, rivalries, and loyalties across the city. Inside the apartment, Kyle's girlfriend gently closed the door on the engagement, her voice soft yet firm. I care about you, Kyle. I really do. But this isn't right. Not yet. Kyle nodded numbly, the velvet box now resting on the coffee table like a relic of shattered dreams. Jack's words still echoed in his mind, a mixture of warning and menace. He had acted out of love, yes, but impulsive love had consequences. And Jack Abbott? Well, Jack Abbott never let consequences go unpunished. As Kyle sat in the aftermath of rejection, Jack's eyes followed him, sharp, calculating. The father-son dynamic in the Abbott household had shifted, the scales teetering between love, fury, and vengeance. Jack knew that Kyle's impulsive act would have ramifications, financial, emotional, and possibly even dangerous. And as always, Jack Abbott was ready to ensure that those who threatened the Abbott legacy learned the cost of crossing him. Outside, the night settled over Genoa City, silent and deceptive. But inside, the storm was far from over. Kyle's hasty proposal had not only failed, it had ignited a powder keg. And Jack Abbott, fueled by vengeance and paternal resolve, was already planning the next move. In a city where ambition, love, and betrayal collided daily, one thing was certain. The Abbott family drama was far from finished, and Kyle Abbott was learning the hard way that in Genoa City actions, no matter how heartfelt, always have consequences.